You still believe the system?
Like, what do you mean?
Democracy.
What about it?
You believe it's gonna take itself out of equation eventually. I think it's gonna forever keep the power.
The thing about democracy and the thing about social tools are that they are truly instruments, and with instruments can do things that humans can't do. They have the sense of detachment. They're made from materials which don't conduct, so you have tongs that can lift up hot iron. They don't conduct heat, so they're not affected by the situation. They're detached from the situation, and they're used in a way to take control over a situation. So this is very difficult, and it could not be done without instruments. But as a 3,000-year-old or 2,000-year-old culture of democracy, and the idea that individuals are important in the construct of the entire society, that instrument, the laws that are required, could really truly be used as an instrument over the desire and the greed for power. So yes, certainly there is a class which is greedy and holding on to power when that power is no longer necessary. They do not need to control any. The only function of government is to solve people's problems. There should be no prosecution or persecution, or the government should not approach a human. Everything should be done for the human with zero harassment, zero trouble from any government source. Every resource of AI should be used before a human is bothered by or harassed by anything bureaucratic. The human should be left completely so their frontal lobes are relaxed, and the human pursuit is to think and imagine and to be creative. Certainly not to worry about trivial issues relating to governance or logistics. That should be solved already now. So, go on, your question?
So you're suggesting it should be solved now, but who is going to come and solve it?
Who is going to solve it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, who is going to be there to solve it?
Good question. Instruments. Our social instruments, such as law. To legislate a simple law that the citizen cannot be bothered. That the government cannot bother. A citizen cannot prosecute, cannot take property from a citizen. Property today, we can grow property, we can print property very, very cheaply. The idea that people's property should be taken in order to pay debts, the idea of debt, and the idea that a government will prosecute, the very idea of a government prosecuting an individual is far, far worse than what the individual could ever do. The idea of an oppression of a power is brutal, and that this power, which could be used to liberate and to free and to provide multiple, or if not infinite opportunity, is turned on itself to oppress the individual, is not acceptable. So that maybe should be the first realization. Yes, go on.
And so you believe that it's just a question of legislation? That
yes,
naturally...
to use tools, not just legislation, to deploy civilizational tools such as legislation to ensure that the public service serves the individual. That, for instance, to take away the immunity of the public servant that bothers the individual without first finding a solution in amongst other bureaucratic arms, but certainly not to use the bureaucracy as an excuse to bother or to construct tricks or to construct obstacles towards the individual. The individual in this process must be central and must be served by all the hosts of AI.